So you're tasked with rebuilding the web and doing it correctly. Who is on your team, and how long would it take, and how much better would it be than what we have now? How many lives would be saved by this rewrite? So, I mean, it's a very odd question, and I'm not sure exactly how to approach it. I guess what I would say is there are probably two problems with the architecture of the web. And first of all, I would say that the web is really two distinct components, right? There's the infrastructure, and then there's like the software layer that sits on top of the infrastructure. And like Ethernet and TCP/IP as the backbone. If you kind of look at that as, I mean, I guess just to draw I just draw the comparison. I'd say if you take a look at Ethernet and TCP/IP, these are technologies which were designed by people in like I don't even remember 1960 something, early 1970s, late 1960s, something like this. I mean, we are talking 40 years ago or something like this, right? 4 decades ago. And it scaled up. The design scaled up all the way from just their machines that they built it on to billions of people communicating massive amounts of data every day. And the TCP/IP stack, like the actual design of like UDP and TCP and the packet switching and all that stuff still works, right? And that's kind of amazing. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for the people who designed the old infrastructure stuff, just because like I don't care what you think about it today. The fact that they were able to build something that was so well done at the time that it was able to scale up to where it is now, and people just kept revving it without ever having to do like we still haven't switched to IPv6. The world is still running on IPv4, right? So it's kind of amazing. But if you look at everything that's been done as part of the web, like not the infrastructure, but the web, the opposite of all of that is true. Like not a single technology that's been designed for the web has lasted more than like 6 months. Like they have to rev the browsers every 15 minutes. They have to change the spec for HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and it's like a cacophonous set of revision after revisions, and none of them work, and they don't scale. They can't even do things that you could already do. JavaScript is slower than anything we've ever had before. Like they literally designed something that was so slow, it's slower than everything that came before it, right? And if you can compare and contrast those two engineering efforts, it's really kind of sad. We basically have what some might consider one of the best, like one of the most amazing feats of engineering in the sense of how well it was done for and how well it scaled so far beyond what it was ever intended to do at the bottom layer. And then we have one of the worst pieces of engineering that anyone's ever done that's worse than anything that came before it, that is literally, there's almost nothing good you can say about it whatsoever sitting on top. It's kind of like, it's like the world's most delicious dessert with like a scoop of turd sauce. Like the poop sauce has just been poured on it. And so you can barely even stand to eat it, right? And so, yeah. So I don't know. If I was tasked with rebuilding the web, I don't think I would probably touch that underlying layer. As much as there are tons of things you'd probably want to fix in the underlying layer, I bet I would do just a worse job. Like, I'm not as smart as those guys, and, like, maybe let's switch to IPv6, but, like, I mean, those guys were just so incredibly smart, and you can just tell that by how well the stuff worked, right? Whereas the upper layer, it would just be complete rewrite. You'd vape it all. It's all absolutely awful. And it would be a relatively large engineering task to replace it, But I mean, I still think you're still only talking about a team of like 10 people. There's not very much technology in the web. If you scrape away all the crap, um, you're basically talking about like a page layout language, a video codec, an audio codec, and a good cross-platform layer. It's not that different from a game, right? So I don't think it would actually be that hard to fix those parts. There's sort of a separate question, which is what about all the backbone stuff, right? Like, are you not backbone, but like back end? Like, are you going to fix, you know, are you going to fix SQL? Are you going to fix EC2? I mean, what are you talking about when you say rewrite the web? You know, so there's a whole bunch of stuff there, but I don't know. I don't know how many lives would be saved in the process, but it would mostly just be more about not having to eat a poop sauce sundae every night, which is how I feel when I come home and use the internet.